Hey guys, it's Dr. Fish, and today I wanted to do a little video about the Splatoon 3 Direct. The Splatoon 3 Direct will be happening soon, sometime soon. We're not completely sure, but I'm expecting either this week or next week. Most likely one of those two. But until that happens, we can only wait and see what new information this Direct will bring. I have decided to take the liberty of making a Splatoon 3 Direct bingo card. This bingo card has a lot of different ideas and things that I want to see from the Splatoon 3 Direct. And I'm gonna go over all of them, and when the Direct eventually comes out, compare it to what we got and see how close I was. Or far, who knows. First up, Little Buddy lore. So, we know about Little Buddy since the very first trailer, but we haven't learned much else about him. We know he eats the fuzzy ink, so that's one thing, but other than that, we don't really know who he is, why he's with us. Basically, he's still an anomaly. I'm hoping we get a little lore about him. Like, what's his purpose outside of just eating ink? 'Cause that can't be all there is to him. This can take any forms, even just something as simple as why he's with us would be nice. Maybe something about how we met before the story begins, or even as the story begins. Next up, new brush variant. Brushes have been given their own set of animations, which makes us think that they're probably their own weapon type now. Before they were just rollers, technically, even though they were used completely differently than most other rollers. So now they're their own weapon type, which means they only have two weapons in them, the Octobrush and the regular ink brush. So, there's gonna be a new variant. It's a pretty simple prediction, but I'm pretty confident that we're gonna get at least one new variant in Splatoon 3, and I'm also confident they're gonna reveal it in the Direct itself. Next, the test fire date. Guys, there's almost definitely going to be a test fire. Stop acting like there won't be. Maybe there won't be, but I highly doubt it. There's just too much marketing and hype built around the test fire. Maybe it will be an early Splatfest, but well, may or may not have seen, but that's actually another square, so we'll get to it. Next up, DJ Octavio is good. It's a theory, or maybe some hopium, that DJ Octavio won't be the final boss of the single-player story mode. DJ Octavio isn't necessarily like a bad guy, as many Octarians actually have a surprisingly good opinion of him. He's just always been an antagonist. The fuzzy ink doesn't seem to be related to him directly, so maybe he's teaming up with us to help fight off the ink that's taking over Octarian culture. We see Octarians with the fuzzy ink, so it's very obvious it's affecting Octarians somehow. Maybe he wants to help us, get rid of the ink. I just don't want him to be the final boss again. Like, I get it, but still. Him being found out as good in the Direct could be more or less anything. It could be something very small, like, oh, he's helping out by, I don't know, giving you a weapon upgrade. Something like that. But I really do hope he has a different role in this game. 8-ball based ranked mode. In the files for Splatoon 2, there is a ranked mode that involves pushing an 8-ball, or where you push the ball into the enemy turf onto a pedestal to win. Sound familiar? Yeah. I am pretty sure this ranked mode will end up making its way into Splatoon 3. They focus so heavily on having 8 balls in Octo expansion, they've gotta be reusing that code as a ranked mode. It just seems so easy, and honestly, kind of seems like a pretty fun ranked mode, but I guess we'll see. There being a returning boss. Octostamp? Returning bosses are pretty common, especially in Nintendo games, so the fact there was only one in Splatoon 2 is a bit surprising, but at the end of the day, new bosses is always a good thing. However, I feel like they will reveal bosses in the Splatoon 3 Direct, and one of them will be a returning boss. Maybe the Octostamp again, maybe one of the other Splatoon 1 or Splatoon 2 bosses. Who knows, they're all okay, so I wouldn't be upset with any of them returning. Rocket-based game mode. Similar to the 8-ball ranked game mode, there exists data for our game mode. You pump damage into a central objective, and whichever team pumps the most damage ends up getting points after a certain time has passed. This exists in the Splatoon 2 code, so it's obvious that they're working on it, and honestly, it seems like a pretty fun mode. We only have Splat Zones as a central objective-based rank mode, so I think having another one would be really nice. Explanation of roll and or surge. We know these moves exist, but we are still pretty in the dark on how they work. Like, especially if you haven't been combing through the videos, you wouldn't understand things like, oh, the roll and surge seem to have some sort of shield that blocks damage. So I think they will give a full explanation of the roll and surge in the direct. It just seems kind of necessary, especially with how big of a move they are going to be. Reveal 2+ stages, not from tweets. We already have some stages that have been revealed both in trailers and on Twitter. I'm hoping we see 2 or more stages that can be either returning or brand new. They can't have been on Twitter because we already saw them on Twitter, so them re-revealing them is kind of expected, honestly. So I'm really hopeful. I'd also say if they reveal Flounder Heights, I would also include this, since there was like a screenshot of Flounder Heights in one of the trailers that was like really small and really quick, but like in no way really revealed it. So if there's Flounder Heights, then I'm still gonna count it as one of the 2. New idols. Pretty simple. They will add new idols. Don't have much idea of if or when they will happen. Admittedly, I'm not 100% sure they will do this, but it's either gonna be the 3rd time or Pearl and Marina are just the idols again. Who knows? Endless Salmon Run. What is the next wave in Next Wave? Well, maybe there are an infinite number of next waves. An endless mode in Salmon Run has been kind of wanted for a while, and honestly kind of expected for a while. It would be really fun mode where you can just go for hours finding salmons with your friends. I think it would be a very obvious direction to move Salmon Run in, so I have a pretty good inkling that it will be in the Splatoon 3 Direct. Gear Grinding Overhaul. Ability chunks and drink tickets were a nice addition to the pure randomness of gear grinding, but they still kind of suck. I'm hoping they make a different way where maybe you can spend money or even just grind a bit more efficiently for gear chunks that isn't more or less completely random. It would really make things easier and also give a reason to spend money once you've unlocked all the gear and all the weapons. Also really hoping that you can put gear on top of other gear, so you can have the benefits of one piece of gear while having the look of another, just so you can have your own unique clothing styles. I mean, Splatoon is all about brands at the end of the day, so being able to use your own unique looks would be really nice, and surprised they haven't done it already. Squids/Kids. Hey, it's the free space. I'm assuming we're going to see some squids and or kids. I think this is a pretty good free space. Early Splatfest. For Splatoon 2, there was a Splatfest held before the game was even released that, much like the test fire, allowed you to play the game early. I'm expecting something similar to happen in Splatoon 3. I don't really see a reason why there wouldn't be, so, you know, like a week before, just get in early, do a Splatfest, have some fun, you know, that sort of thing. New ink colors. It's pretty simple prediction, just there being a new ink combination in the Direct. I don't think they would bring attention to it, but just something in the background. Pre-main game Splatfest colors don't count. New game mode. This is a brand new game mode that's not a ranked game mode, in the same sort of way as Salmon Run was to Splatoon 2. There are a few obvious choices, something like a battle royale or a deathmatch, but it could really be anything, and I'm really hoping something like this gets revealed. More or less because it would finally get people to stop saying that Splatoon 3 is Splatoon 2.5, even though it obviously isn't. Also, the German Twitter just technically revealed that there will be, in fact, new game modes, but that could also be ranked game modes, or even something else completely. Grisco lore and hints. We still know very little about Grizzco, so having anything would be nice, even if it's just something about what Next Wave is, like how Grizzco made Next Wave or was a part of the Next Wave, cause Grizzco is very shady, and it's very clear that he's not all good, and the fact that Splatoon 3 doesn't seem to be making any mention of him yet is kind of strange. New weapon variant. Much like the new Inkbrush variants, I bet there will be a new weapon variant. I am pretty sure there's also going to be one other weapon variant revealed. Not really sure which one it would be, though I have pretty high hopes for it being a Brella. In fact, the Squid was originally new Brella variant revealed. But it could be anything else. New blaster, new slosher, new semi-automatic, you know, anything really. Heavy or light stringer. We've got the new stringer class weapon, so of course they're gonna add another version of it. Either heavier or lighter. That's always what it is with Splatoon. I'm not sure which one it would be, but I'm going to put both, and frankly, I bet there will be both eventually, even if they aren't revealed in Splatoon 3 Direct. Friend codes. So, in the release date trailer, we can see these little codes on the player cards. I think these are friend codes or lobby codes that you can use to connect with other players after a round, and to set up a private battle without needing to add the people to your friends list, cause that was a dumb way to do that sort of stuff in Splatoon 2, and really needs to be overhauled. I think they will have an explanation of that during the Direct. New weapon type. Just a new weapon type. I don't know what much there is more to say to this. They just bring out a completely new weapon type. Not sure what it would be, but we've only had one so far, and I think 2 would be expected. Maybe even 3, you know, like Splatoon 3. Or maybe I'm being greedy. A replay system. Very much wanted by the community, but at the same time, I really don't expect Nintendo to make this, so I genuinely don't expect them to have this, but if they do, it'd be really nice and really awesome. Map schedule change. People have been complaining about the map rotations, and I think there will be some change to it in Splatoon 3. I don't know why, it's just a feeling, and of course I could be wrong, but you know. I'm expecting either they increase the number of maps that are in rotation to like 3 at least, or they give it like 4 or 5 maps in rotations, and you have the Mario Kart sort of vote on which map you want. I think those would be really good additions to the game, and make playing casual and ranked a lot more fun and different, because it can definitely feel a bit tiresome when you play the same maps over and over and over again. Having a bit more variety in the map rotations would be really nice. New Salmon Run bosses. They only revealed a handful of new bosses in the Salmon Run trailer, so I'm expecting them to reveal more. Maybe 1 more, maybe 2 more, but at least some more. This will count if there are another super boss like the big boy Salmonid that seems to be a big boss. Achievements. With a new player card system, I am expecting there to be achievements, or achievement adjacents, that give you those little titles, much in the same way Nook Miles work in Animal Crossing New Horizons. I mean, how else are we gonna get those titles? This will be a nice thing to have because achievements are nice because they can help you either track your progress or give you goals to reach for, especially if they give you rewards. I'm really hopeful that something like this is added because it would be really fun. And that is all of the squares in the Splatoon 3 Direct Bingo. I'm sure that not all of these will end up getting in. I tried to pick spots that I thought were possible, but also weren't obviously going to get in. Like, there was obviously going to be an explanation of what Next Wave is, so instead I talked about Endless Salmon Run. I think it gives the bingo card a lot of chances to be correct, but also a lot of chances for things that may or may not be true. I'm hoping to get a bingo, though. At least one. Hopefully one. So, what do you guys think? I'm really hoping for the Splatoon 3 Direct to really knock me off my feet. Not to say that I don't expect Splatoon 3 to do that itself, but the amount of news has been slow, and it has been a trickle, and finally getting a lot of answers to questions and assumptions we've sort of had about Splatoon 3 will be very much wanted and very much needed. So, that's the end of the video. See you guys later, I guess? I hope to see you when the Splatoon 3 Direct happens.